Sit down and strap in because you're about to experience driving television. It's time to test your automotive trivia knowledge as we count down the 5 biggest car flops of all time.
Now, Forbes and Time Magazine both came out with lists of the worst vehicles of all time. So we combined those lists, and here are our 5 choices.
At number 5, the Ford Bronco II. No, not the big white one that O.J. Simpson drove in, the little one. Ford was ahead of its time with the compact SUV with this vehicle, but it had a few problems.
Well, it was known for rollovers and poor build quality.
It had this unfortunate design which gave it a very high center of gravity and a short wheelbase, which made it very tippy in the corners. It was built up from a Ford Ranger pickup truck platform. They discontinued the Bronco II and they brought out the Explorer, also known for rollovers.
At number 4 is the Oldsmobile Delta 88 diesel.
Now, there was nothing wrong with the Delta 88. In fact, it was a very nice car to drive in. The problem is, General Motors took one of their gas engines and made it into a diesel, and it sucked bad. A friend of mine had one of these in college. Took forever to start, took forever to warm up, and you could hear it coming about 2 blocks away. They also use these same engines in other products like Cadillac. It was a dud.
So this is just one of the reasons why a lot of Americans have bad feelings towards diesels.
At number 3, the Ford Pinto. You know, the Pinto, it was quite an attractive little car, very functional. The hatchback design was very useful. It really was a great little car for people who didn't have a lot of money. They didn't want to spend a lot to buy a car, and it was very thrifty and cheap to run. But it had one little problem.
It would explode if it got rear-ended.
Not good PR for a car company.
At number 2 is the Cadillac Cimeron. Now, Zach, I have to be honest, I don't even remember this car.
Well, one company would like to forget about the Cimarron, General Motors, because it typifies just how out of touch General Motors was with the buying public in the 80s. See, what they did, Lacey, was they took a very basic economy car, the Cavalier, and they junked it up with all kinds of cladding and interior modifications, and they turned a Cavalier into a Cadillac, a Cimarron. And it was an ugly Cavalier at that. Every single time General Motors wants to feel humble, they should pull out a picture of the Cimarron.
And at number 1 is the AMC Pacer. Now, this car definitely gets top marks just because of how it looks.
You know what? This car on its own as a vehicle wasn't that bad. Mechanically, it was pretty good. And what they decided to do for a small car was make it built around the occupant. So they designed it from the inside out, which made it very round or square and kind of bulbous. So what happened was, when the car first came out, Lacey, it was so far ahead of its time that people actually liked it. They went out and bought it. But as time went on, it got this stigma as being one of the ugliest cars on the road. And then all those sales dried up.
Now, it's actually been so recognized as one of the worst cars of all times, it's actually become a collectible.